Hey, it's me again, Richard Miller with Facts for Working People. I wanted to talk about a couple of other things. If you think about the question of Syria, people try to figure out all the reasons why this crisis can't be solved. The same with Israel or war or just the constant battles and struggles and conflict that's going on in the world. And if we take something like Syria, what is the solution to the question of Syria or to the conflict in Israel? Well, here's the situation. There isn't a solution to this problem and to those crises within the framework of capitalism. I know that's hard to understand at times. It seems a bit abstract. How do we solve the crisis in Syria? Religious people might say, well, it's evil, it's good versus evil, the world is coming to an end, Jesus is this, or Allah is that, or whatever religious figure explanation they have of it. But the reality is, it's a political question, and capitalism cannot solve it. The system under which we live, the economic system, the political structure that arises from it cannot solve the problem in Syria. It cannot solve the problem in Israel, Palestine. It cannot solve the problem in Northern Ireland. It can't solve the problem of hunger. It cannot solve the environmental crisis. So people might say, well, oh my God, that's what a depressing thought. There's no solution to it. Well, there is a solution to it. The solution to it is only the working class can solve this problem. The international working class. In each nation, there's working class people. Most people are working class people. And globally, with the majority of the people in this world are working class people. And the only solution to the problems we're facing, which are a crisis of the system itself, is for the working class to intervene, to take center stage, to solve this problem. Well, that does seem abstract. Well, the working class, especially here in America, the traditions have been lost. We've never had a party of our own, and so it just seems so abstract. But when you think about it, what happens today is representatives. Kerry is over in Syria. There's no way Kerry can help us or solve this problem or help the Syrian people. Clinton won't help the Syrian people. Putin won't help the Syrian people. And so what's happening is the representatives of capitalism, capitalists and their representatives, are discussing with each other how to solve the problems in various parts of the world. But these problems arise out of the contradictions within capitalism, the competition between nation states, the competition between various capitalist classes who are struggling against each other for domination and control of the world's resources. Obviously, the small and weaker capitalist nations, they identify or align themselves as the guy in the Philippines now, he's going into China and attacking the US. They try to balance between the various powers, capitalist powers. In the days of the Soviet Union, what they did was they played the Soviet Union off against the Western, the United States in particular. These two, it's a bipolar relationship they had, and so that's what was happening in that situation. So the working class has no voice. But when you think about it, I just took a couple of notes here to remind myself of what I'm trying to say here. And it's not quite so abstract to Europeans, where there have been political parties, to Africans, even to Latin America, where the working class has struggled to build its own parties and what have you. But if we look at the union, in the union, we recognize that we talk to the boss. I just was down at my union hall the other week, and what are they doing? I was down at the executive board. These are rank and file folks, regular workers, and they're getting together to discuss how to talk to the bosses and to talk to the bosses about their interests. And it's a clash of interests. They don't have the same position. They may have the same worldview in a mixed up sort of way, but you meet in the union, you meet with the bosses, and I was active in my union for 25 years, from opposing viewpoints. They want to pay you less, you want to get more. They want this, you want that. So you meet and talk and discuss with them as a separate economic grouping, as a separate class, and you don't think twice about it. People that get involved in the union so they can meet with the bosses and kiss their way up, or use the union to advance into the ranks of the employer, the bosses. They're looked down upon by other workers. They're seen as traitors, and that they betrayed their people. So we do it in when we have to meet with them as a union, and also even in non-union. If you're in a workplace, I was talking to somebody the other day. She dealt with a certain amount of sexual harassment in the workplace, and there's no union there, and another worker, a female worker, was talking with her and helping her. And so even in a non-union workplace where we're forced to address the boss, forced to confront the boss, a few people get together and they pick a worker they can trust, a co-worker they can trust, and that person might talk with the boss on their behalf, or there may be a couple of them that go and talk, but clearly they see themselves, and we see ourselves in those situations, even without a union, as separate. The problem is, in the United States here, we've never had a party of our own. There have been attempts where the working class has formed independent parties. Mostly we function through the Democratic Party. The trade union leaders are in bed with the Democratic Party. Most workers have just given up on both parties. So we have not had a party of our own through which we can express ourselves politically. And a party is different because it governs society. It's not like a trade union. It broadens consciousness. You discuss trade. You discuss the world. You discuss the environment in a way you don't deal with it in the trade union. And also, if you have a political party of your own, and you have a senator, or you're a congressperson, or whatever then if like here when the Jolly Green Giant, I remember when the team that represented the workers there were Teamsters, and they moved it to Mexico. You get a movement, and people get involved in the political party. They enter into it when the struggle intensified a bit. Some workers going to say, well, let's call our congressperson, and let's move a resolution that we take over the plant, or that use eminent domain, or in some way to keep the factory here. So a political party broadens consciousness. And that's one thing we've lacked here. But the thing is when we look at Syria, somebody asked me the other day, well, what's the solution in Syria? And I said, there isn't one. The only solution, there isn't one at this point in time. The only solution is for the working class to intervene, for the united working class to take power, for a democratic socialist economy, to get rid of a capitalist economy, for the working class to take power, and to talk to each other as working people, who our lives are spent not living off the profit of capital, but selling our labour power, working for wages. And so the only solution is for the working class to overthrow capitalism, and for workers to meet each other and discuss with each other about how to plan the economy, how the economy should work, how world trade should occur. For let's say, even within the trade union movement, old Jack Henning from the California Federation of Labor talked of global unionism to fight global capitalism. He was absolutely right. He never did anything about that. But there would be an international meetings of the auto workers, an international meeting of water workers. There are international meetings now of different trades and different workers, but within the strategy and the program and the planning and the orientation is all within the framework of capitalism. And we have to abandon the framework of capitalism. We cannot solve the problems of these regional wars and everything else that are the products of capitalism, but also of poverty, of starvation, of hunger. All of these are a market-based crises. The only reason there's a medical or a health issue in Africa or in the underdeveloped world is that capitalism cannot and will not develop those societies. So we have to think in those terms, that we have to build a political party of our own. Even a party of our own that is not explicitly socialist is a step forward, because it gives us place, a political arena in which to fight independently, in which to express our own views, fight for our own interests. It will transform the consciousness in this country, even if and when it occurs, it will not be a revolutionary socialist party anyway. It will be a party initially to struggle for reforms, and through the struggle for reforms, the conclusions are drawn with the help of revolutionary understanding and history of our revolutionary activity. The conclusions are drawn that we have to change the structure of society, that we cannot make it work for us. These are just a few thoughts I had about that for ordinary working class people like myself. That's my background to think about, and hopefully, the blog here, we have an email address. If you want to send us questions, if you want to help us think about things or have views yourself, please do so. And I'll see you next time.